Okay, so every Wednesdays we do have this very interesting segment where we actually talk relationships. And Mr. Olaiwola has been joining us for a while now. And today he's here again. And we're talking about something very, very important. Competence when it comes to being romantic, right? And how that impacts and makes our relationships healthy. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria.
Good morning, good morning. It's good to be here again. Of
course, it's always great to have you because we're sure you're going to be giving us very important tools and tips to maintain our relationships. Okay, so now we're talking about competence when it comes to being romantic.
Yeah.
Now, it is generally believed and observed and perceived that Nigerian men are not romantic.
Yeah.
Do you share that opinion?
Well, that would be stereotyping Nigerian men because there are still men that are romantic, Nigerian men that are romantic anyway. So for me, it's no longer news that people have a season in their relationship, the lovey-dovey time and season. But in no time, they also get to this season called the reality stage, and everybody is going south and saying, is this the same guy that was running after me in the courting and dating period? But I've come to realize that it's because a lot of people are not skillful in terms of how to go about their relationship. So when we talk about romantic competency, we're actually talking about having this adaptive relational ability, because the person you're going to be going out with, or you're going out with, or you're in a relationship with, is not coming from the same background and whatever. So for us to have better understanding how to relate and have a long-lasting and enduring relationship, there is need to be romantically competent. And that will be probably surprising because I'm not going to be saying the things you will probably think I'll be saying.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, okay, now. So there are three things actually I've come to discover that if every one of us we actually imbibe, will make our relationship better romantically. Okay. Number one is insight. Insight. Now, when we talk about insight, insight is basically talking about knowledge and about self, understanding of oneself, that is knowing yourself and knowing your partner. Okay. Now, this is only possible when we allow friendship. The problem we have most of the time is that people bring physical intimacy too early in a relationship, that they do not cultivate friendship, bond in a way that there's no other way you can bond except friendship. You know, you have your buddies, you have your friends, and you can always be there. You can tell if your friend comes back from an outing and she has not said anything, looking at your eyes, you can tell that something is wrong. If the party was nice, you can tell. Because you have some level of insight. You know yourself, you know how your body feels, you know the things you can take, the things you can't take, you know your needs, you know your wants. So insight basically is talking about knowing yourself and knowing your partner. Let me give you an instance in this regard. I know that I love to talk. I love to express myself. Okay. Now, if I'm going to go out with someone, the person must be someone that will be ready to listen because I love to talk. Okay. Now, when I started our relationship, my woman is the kind of person that's a very quiet person. So when we're talking and, what do you say to this? She'll keep quiet. She kept quiet most of the time, and she told me that, look, I'm thinking about it. For me, it was not getting. But over time, I discovered that when I give her time to brood over the matter, she's a very deep person. When she comes back with her own ideas, but most of the time, it's even better ideas. So I've come to realize that now I don't need to rush her. She's not an impulsive person or a spontaneous person like myself. So that's insight. That I know you, I know myself. So when we're about to make decisions, I'm going to be making decisions in the light of what I know about you.
Okay, so number one is insight.
Insight, knowledge of self and knowledge of your partner.
All right, so now what is number two?
The number two is what we call mutuality. Okay. Mutuality is simply saying, I understand that I have needs. Okay. And my partner also has needs. And these needs are valid. These needs are important. You can't sweep them under the carpet. So it's also conveyed to me that I must communicate those needs. The beginning of crisis or conflict in relationships when we have our needs or expectations not met. So, but you don't have to say, is it not an adult? You should know. A lot of times ladies do that, do what we call mind reading. But
wait, you should know. Because at the beginning of the relationship, you knew. So what now happened? You see, why did you become clueless all of a sudden?
Human beings are dynamic. Different seasons, different realities. But what mutuality is saying is that understand your needs are valid. No matter how quote and unquote nonsensical they may sound, your needs are valid. Communicate them. Then those understanding of that will also inform your decision. Whatever decision I'm taking, I'm going to be taking in the light of the fact that your need is important, my need is important. So that's what mutuality is all about.
Okay. So now mutuality, we have insight, knowledge of yourself, knowledge of your partner. We have mutuality. So now what is...
The third one is emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation.
Yes, emotions don't go away until you do something about it. So it's simply saying, because we're emotional beings, we are relational beings.
We are, yeah.
So as two people in love go about their day-to-day activities in their relationship, they're going to come to a time where they're probably going to hurt each other. So emotional regulation is simply saying, putting the issues in proper perspective.
Okay.
Don't go overboard. At times, people attack the person of their partner instead of attacking the issue.
The issue.
So emotional regulation is saying, okay, for example, you're waiting for your partner, your spouse, probably for a date, and the person is coming late, and you're getting agitated and things like that. If you don't know how to put the emotion in check, by the time he or she comes in, at that point in time, you may just lose it and spoil the whole idea of the date night. So emotional regulation is putting your emotion in check and know how to go about it.
Okay, so now we spoke about insight, mutuality, emotion regulation.
Yeah.
Now, why is it that we're not hearing the things we actually want to hear, like buy me flowers and chocolate? So now where does that come in? And now the fact that people perceive those kind of things as the romantic gestures, now what does that have to, like, what do you have to say to that?
That's where these three things come to play.
Yeah.
For example, I know the woman in my life loves gifts. I understand I love language.
Okay.
I will not say, look, the economy is hard. She should understand that things are hard. We have school fees to pay.
Yes.
But by mutuality, I understand that our needs are valid. And when she communicates the needs to me also, I should also be able to go out of my way to meet the needs. That's what I would say about that.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, I love the fact, I mean, you spoke about how, I mean, yes, there are seasons, right? There's the fairy tale part and how people, but then again, the reality season.
The adjustment season.
Exactly. So people literally need to come to the point of realizing that it now has to take efforts, right? To make it work and make it still lively and fun. I mean, as I said, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for telling us these amazing tips on how to keep our relationship fresh and romantic.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.